Do nice guys really finish last and assholes always get what they want? I've even kind of had this thing, right, where I've asked my mum, like when I've been through really tough times in my life, I'm like, why is this happening? When I was in victim mode, why is this happening? Am I actually an asshole and I don't really know it? Like, why, blah, blah, blah. Why are all these things that feel really shitty happening to me? And I know that there's a lot of people out there who feel like they're the good person and yet things don't go their way, and that all the assholes get what they want. So let's get into that one today. Before we continue with the video, hey legends, I'm Cerise. I'm your self agency and manifestation mentor, and I help you decipher the nuances of manifestation from both the law of assumption and the law of attraction, because there's a lot of information out there that's either overcomplicated or oversimplified. And I've learned a lot of things the hard way, so you don't have to. We're all about manifesting smarter, not harder on this channel. So there's a few reasons why it will feel, if you believe that you're the nice guy or girl or whatever, nice person, that things don't go your way. And often I like to explain the difference between a nice person and a good person, right? A good person can be nice, but they can also tell people to go fuck themselves or stand their ground, stick up for themselves, not in an overly like elevated way, just in a self-respect way. And in respecting themselves, other people respect them. Whereas a nice person probably doesn't even realize it on a conscious level. Most of the time, a nice person, someone who's always nice to people's faces at least, and are doing good deeds and are telling people about their good deeds, virtue signaling, essentially. And this is not to have a go at people, right? Again, most of you who are doing this don't even realize that you're doing it. It's some sort of survival instinct driving this on a primal level. But a lot of the sort of nice guy behavior is actually coming from a subconscious place of trying to manipulate people to like you because you're worried that people don't like you or won't like you. You're worried that if you tell someone, put someone in their place or respect yourself by sticking up for yourself, and you don't just let people say things. And often that will be addressed in a background kind of way, right? Not to their face, but you'll probably be looking for validation behind their back in some way, whether that's bitching about them in a way that comes across as nice, or just planting seeds of doubt in people's minds about someone. That's not nice behavior, okay? But all of that is coming from a place of like, I am scared of being rejected by this person or this group, because 10,000 years ago, if you were exiled or not accepted by a community, a tribe, you likely were not going to survive. So that comes from a primal need for community, for survival. I'm always talking about how, on a primal level, the more primal parts of our brains, the older parts of our brains, before the more like the newer part of our brain developed, that allows us to imagine and create complex relationships with people. Before that, everything was about survival. And that part of the brain still exists, and it can hijack the newer part of our brain at times until we can get ourselves to a cool, calm, collected state. Again, using my cheat codes, doing things like nervous system regulation work, feel good things, and of course, your self concept work, but not just I am affirmations, but also treating yourself how you want to be treated. A good person knows how to do that, whether consciously or they were, fortunate enough to grow up around people who taught them that or showed them how to do that with their own actions. So, the other thing about that is, what are you doing when you're going against your authentic nature out of fear that you won't be liked by people, by being the nice person, the nice guy, the nice girl? Is you are projecting out that you're not liked. Okay. And if you're projecting out that you're not liked, you're attaching some sort of meaning to that, that you can't have what you want if people don't like you. And that is why it seems like things are never going your way, even though you're the nice person. So let's talk about assholes for a second. There's a lot of people out there who we would perceive to be shitty people. And the reason that a lot of them get away with things or are able to be assholes and still be rich or loved by a lot of people or have love in their life or whatever it might be is because their overarching belief is that they are entitled to have the things that they want, or that they are going to get away with whatever they're doing. And so this is why it's really important to also talk about how it's not necessary to be high vibe all the time, right? We see this like chart of frequencies and think we have to vibrate at the top, which is like love, blah, 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 blah. And there are these people out there who are not doing that because their belief system, right? Which is why it's not your feelings that manifest, it is your beliefs, which for anything that you have an emotional attachment to or means a lot to you is a combination of your thoughts and your feelings. It's not just thoughts. You can will something to existence by solely focusing on your thoughts. But if you want it to last, if it's something that means a lot to you and you want it to last, associating a more positive feeling with it or a cool, calm, collected feeling with it, which I talked about in the video that I recorded prior to this. I'm not sure what order I'm going to upload them, but in that video, I talk about why spiritual teachers or manifestation teachers or whatever talk so much about feeling like you already have your manifestation, and it's probably not what you think. So if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to do that. If anything that I'm saying is landing, or you're getting anything positive out of this, or you don't want to miss any of my videos about any topics that I bring up that I'm making another video about, don't forget to like, share, comment, and or subscribe. It helps push my videos out to more people. And if you'd like to comment below to help me with the algorithm, but you don't know what to comment, just put a sparkle emoji, because we're creating literal real life fucking magic on this channel. And here's the thing about hearing this: if you are a nice person, right? If you're someone who tells people of your good deeds because the validation of that feels good, or when someone says something that you don't like, you don't have your own back in that situation, or you feel like you won't address something with someone one to one, then you'll go and talk to people that you have in common, or maybe even don't have in common, and tell them about the story, placing yourself in the victim role of that, wanting someone to validate how you feel about it. If anything, if that is resonating, and I'm not saying that to shit on you, because again, a lot of it is subconscious. It's something that you developed to get through a tough time in the past, but it's not serving you anymore. And that's why I'm bringing it to your attention. So if that lands with you as to how you think you conduct yourself, maybe not all those things, but some of those things or one of those things, and you're thinking, okay, I need to change that, I need you to know that you're not going to be able to just change that without addressing your nervous system, which is why it's like the main cheat code that I talk about, even though they all work together synergistically. The three of them work together synergistically. So self concept work and feel good things are my other two cheat codes. Because that behavior is being driven from the out of whack nervous system that is keeping you in a negative feedback loop of your negative opposing thoughts. Okay. Negative thoughts and feelings are not in and of themselves a big deal. It's the ones you accept, but when you're not conscious of them, which again is harder to be conscious of when your nervous system's out of whack, that is when you will experience the things that you don't want to, or you will react to the old story playing out and keep further perpetuating it. So it's really important for you to address your nervous system, doing nervous system regulation. If that is a story about yourself, an identity about yourself that you want to change, you still want to be nice, but you actually don't want to just be a nice person. You want to be a good person, someone who can actually respond without reacting, but still have your own back. Someone who still does good things, but isn't doing good things to try and accomplish anything or get validation from anyone, right? You're not doing nice things to try to impress anyone. You're doing good things because you're a good person. And that's, I believe that nice people still genuinely do good things, but you don't need to announce it. You don't care if anyone thinks that you're not a good person, because you know you're a good person. And really, like I always say, you don't manifest what you want. So wanting people to like you, you don't manifest that. You manifest from who you are, who you know yourself to be, or who you're choosing that you are if you don't already feel like you know who you are. And just quickly on the asshole thing, if you feel like you're always experiencing assholes getting what they want or getting what you want, that is a story that you need to change, because whilst you're not controlling them, right, you are controlling how you experience them. And you'll stop experiencing shitty people getting away with things and having awesome lives. And I think we're seeing more and more of that, right? There's a lot of bad people getting caught out these days. And, being the cool girl also falls into this category. I used to be the cool girl. I used to not want to rock the boat. I didn't want to be one of those psycho girls, right? And I'm not. And if you have been, that's okay. That is not your identity, and we can definitely shift that, right? But I wanted so much to not be seen as one of those difficult girls, psycho girls, that I actually just never even spoke up about things that I was upset about. I would internally react. So I'm always talking about how you may not think that you're reacting because you're not addressing anything, but if your nervous system is getting kicked up by an experience, that is an internal reaction. I wouldn't have an external reaction. A lot of people think reacting is just about flying off the handle at something, being neurotic, but it's not. An internal reaction like anxiety is still a reaction. So it's about getting to a point where you are able to respond and or create an energetic boundary or even a 3D world boundary, but a lot of you are not there yet. A lot of you will be setting boundaries to try and manipulate the physical world instead of just doing it from a place of I feel better at this moment not being in this situation. None of those things are going to be able to change if your nervous system remains out of whack. That's that internal reaction, right? As well as the external. Any neurotic, hysterical responses or internal anxiety being kicked up is coming from an out of whack nervous system. And you're unable to zoom out and be the observer, right? Your higher self that has the bird's eye view of everything and can put you on the most efficient route to your end goal, you can't zoom out when you have an out of whack nervous system. So, again, just like being the nice guy, being the cool girl is about a fear of not being liked if you say something, if you do something that expresses that you're not particularly happy with something. And you're allowed to you're allowed to do that. And there are different ways of addressing it. Like I said, there's energetic boundaries, there's 3D world boundaries. And when you're coming from that place, that fearful place that you may not be consciously aware of yet, unless any of this is landing for you, that is projecting out that you don't have what you want or that you can't be who you truly are. You can't be upset about anything. You have to be happy with crumbs. Otherwise, someone might not like you. And all that's doing is projecting out that your worth is at crumb level. You don't deserve more than crumbs. So if you're wondering why, as the laid back chick, right, when all these other girls you are perceiving are, with maybe your guy friends or your female friends, the way they interact with guys, you're seeing them kind of do what you would think are quite nutty things, and they still have people in their like romantic partners in their lives. How do they get all the guys? It's because somewhere in their story, they know they can attract the guys in. And that also falls into that like force overflow. When they're doing that, they may be able to manipulate the situation with their heightened reactions to things to have temporary manifestations of a relationship, right? We know these people who are in and out of like constantly breaking up with the same person, right? That's exhausting. That is not the way you probably want your relationship manifestation to go, for example. But, the nice guy or the cool girl thing can also fall into work situations and other situations in life, friendships, even. Like, I was the cool girl across all those, and it didn't serve me. It served me temporarily, it didn't serve me long term. That is what the forceful manifestation can show up like. And you won't even get there if you're being the nice guy or the cool girl. Or you might, but again, it's going to be work. It's going to be like, I have to keep proving that I'm the cool girl or the nice guy to keep this thing going.